Good morning and welcome to What's Up Wednesday, where we come to you every Wednesday with the latest social media news, tips, and tricks. And my name is Becky Johnson. I am not Karen Taradas, but she will be back next week. And today we are going to learn about online education sources for small businesses. If you are a small business, a really small business, especially, or even a solopreneur, it can be really difficult and stressful to have to know everything about business. If you are your own social media manager, you are your own accountant, you are your own everything, your own salesperson, it can get really tricky. So, we wanted to share some online education sources where you can learn about the parts that maybe aren't your strengths right now so that you can grow in those areas. Because as a business owner, you always want to be growing and learning. So, first, we're going to talk about podcasts. We love podcasts, we love podcasting, and we wanted to share some of our favorite business podcasts with you. So, the first one is Life Coach School by Brooke Castillo. This podcast is specific to life coaching. So it helps you make your greatest ideas come to life, not just for your business, but also in your personal life. And it's specific to money and how to generate new income, how to grow your business, and all those things. And it's just a really great all around podcast. The next one is the Gary V audio experience with Gary V. He talks about entrepreneurship and marketing pertaining to small businesses. So if you've got a small business, this is perfect for you because his focus is how to grow your business, but with reasonable boundaries. A lot of times I feel like people promise the moon and it's not really something that's accessible for the normal person. And this is like real life advice from Gary Vee, who is obviously super successful. Marketing Made Easy podcast with Amy Porterfield. We love Amy Porterfield around Social U. And so she is here to teach you marketing strategies. Marketing is one of the most important aspects of your business. You can have a great product, a great service, but if you don't market it well, no one is going to know about it. So she offers email list training, webinars, online courses, all these things that go along with her podcast if you want to dive deeper. But the podcast is a great place to start. One of my favorites on this list is Social Media Examiner with Michael Stelzner. So, this podcast is a great podcast, I feel like, for social media managers. I love it. But he also will share helpful tips, new apps that help you to create content for all your platforms. So, if you are new to social media or maybe you aren't confident in your social media presence, this is a great podcast where you can get some of those ideas and spark some inspiration. Somebody that you're going to hear on this list a lot is Donald Miller, and he has the podcast Business Made Simple. So he has a book also called Business Made Simple, which we recommend. But this podcast is a great resource for those starting a business. They interview other professionals and give tips on how to grow your business. It's also a great place to find other podcasts and book recommendations. He's really good about sharing those things. Pat Flynn, Smart Passive Income. So, in Smart Passive Income, Pat Flynn talks about real life stories of how people grew their businesses. Sometimes all you need is to hear someone else's story and think, wait, this would be perfect for my business. I should do that. So, this podcast provides firsthand advice on how to grow your online business. And he has weekly interviews with business owners, and they talk about their strategies on how they grew their business. Another favorite around Social U is Marie Forleo. So, the Marie Forleo podcast, she is a best-selling author and a spectacular entrepreneur, and she is really encouraging. She uses her podcast to help build people up. She hosts guests that talk about growing business digitally and having a passive stream of income, which is amazing. Passive income means you do the work once and then you can make income while you sleep. Everyone would love that. And she talks about not only your business, but how to be the person you want to be, not just how to have the business you want to have, but to be the person you want to be. The Momentum Matters podcast by Momentum, which is a women's leadership organization right here in Alabama. We love Momentum. We participate in their conferences. They're one of our favorite clients, and their podcast is for women, but also is a good resource for men. And it just talks about how people overcome the different boundaries that they might face in the workplace, and how they build strengths around those things. They'll talk about self care and race and equality, any kind of leadership thing that you want to know about, they have probably talked about. So it's really about just leadership principles, interviews with leaders that tell you how they have overcome all of these things in the workplace. So highly recommend. And of course, I would do you a disservice not to recommend our podcast. We have 2 podcasts. One podcast is the Social University podcast, and it is an audio replaying of this video, this live that we do every Wednesday. And then the other one is the Social U podcast, and it is more of a fun podcast where we do talk about the business, but we talk about things that we don't get to talk about in this one. More some of the funny stories that we have, some of the things that make us cranky, things that are going on in social media in the world right now with celebrities and businesses and just how those are affecting the face of social media. So we think you should check it out because it's pretty fun. Now, if you are not a podcast person, you don't want to sit and listen to somebody talking, I get it. You have books that you can use also. There are some great books, and I want to talk about just a few that you could start out with that would be great for a business owner. So, first, I'm going to start with a classic, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. When I was little, I would hear people talk about this book, and I thought it was made up. I thought it was made up for TV, and it was just a joke that people said, like, oh, you need the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's a real book. And it is great. It is all about building relationships and how to introduce people to your ideas and for them to be receptive to those ideas and not resentful. So it's really good in teaching you all about interpersonal relationships and honestly how you can get people persuaded to your point of view. Another good one is, by Seth Godin. It's called This Is Marketing. Actually, all of his books are great. There's one called Purple Cow that's really good. You should just look into Seth Godin as an author, but he talks about marketing, sales, and advertising as it pertains to all people in business, whether you're a business owner or a corporate business or you work for one of those places. And he breaks down marketing and how to target what the consumer needs and not just dictate to your consumer what you think they need, because a lot of times we are trying to sell people things that they are not asking for. So this is a great book for that. Traction, Get a Grip on Your Business by Gino Wickman. So this is for the business owner that's feeling overwhelmed. If you are stressed, if you feel like you are drowning right now in your business, this is the book for you. It is a book on how to take back control of your business and stop being overwhelmed, stop drowning in the business and actually enjoy being a business owner again. One of the new classics, I like to call it, that we think everybody should read is Start with Why: How Great Leaders Inspire Everyone to Take Action by Simon Sinek. So, Start with Why is all about inspiration, how to be inspired, how to inspire others, how to continue inspiring. The inspiration of people all has to do with why. Why do you do what you do? Every question that you ask about your business, every question that other people may ask about your business, all comes back to the why. And if you are inspired and you know your why, it's a lot easier to inspire other people about your product or your service. Radical Candor by Kim Scott. This is one of my personal favorites. I feel like in the business world, this book has changed my life more than any other book because this is the book that is for the overly polite people that don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to make anyone upset. So they end up keeping their mouth shut and letting things continue that are not great for your business. That if you had just nipped them in the bud in the very beginning, everyone would have been happier. It would have actually been nicer of you, and you wouldn't have the problems that build up over time. So if you're one of those people that doesn't like to rock the boat, if you don't like those confrontational conversations, or if you don't know how to have those confrontational conversations without seeming like a jerk, this is the book for you. Radical Candor. A few other books that I want to mention just before we go on. I won't give a description of all these because we would be here forever, but just so you can put these in your back pocket for later. Deep Work: Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World by Cal Newport. Conquer the Chaos: How to Grow a Successful Small Business Without Going Crazy by Clayt Mask and Scott Martineau. Influence: The Psychology of Persuasion by Dr. Robert B. Cialdini. I'm probably saying that wrong. Cialdini? I don't know. I'm probably saying it wrong. Build to Last: Successful Habits of Visionary Companies by Jim Collins and Jerry Porras. Another one of those that sounds made up when you're young, but is actually real. The Seven Habits of Highly Successful People by Stephen Covey. Crush It, which is one book, and Crushing It, both by Gary Vee. Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. We love Donald Miller. Blue Ocean Strategy: How to Create Uncontested Market Space and Make the Competition Irrelevant by W. Chan Kim and Renee Mauborgne. And we can't make this list without putting Karen's all-time favorite book on it, You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. And if you feel like, oh, I cannot read this book, it's not to make you one, it's to help you realize that you already are and how to share that with the world. Okay, YouTube. YouTube is a wonderful resource. You can learn anything on YouTube. On YouTube, I have learned how to unclog a clogged toilet that wouldn't plunge. I have learned to knit hats and scarves. I have learned to do so many things on YouTube. And business is one of those things. Sometimes we overlook YouTube for business, but you can learn tons of things on there. So some of the channels that we love: Donald Miller, I told you he was going to be on this list over and over and over, but his channel focuses on all the things that are holding you back and how to overcome those things in your business. Social Media Examiner, it's on the list again. This one is a great resource. We just can't get enough of it. And their YouTube channel discusses all things social media. So they are a great resource if you need help with your digital marketing, your social media presence, all of those things. Gary Vee's website, I would say his last name, but I am really not sure how to say it. A lot of these names are crazy to me. I think it's Vaynerchuk. I'm not sure. We're going to call him Gary Vee because that's what everybody calls him. But he talks about social media marketing as well and how to use it to improve yourself personally and professionally. And again, we have Marie Forleo. You will see some of these names are on here over and over: Marie Forleo, Donald Miller, Gary Vee. Anything that they produce is probably going to help you in your business. So just check them out and all the things that they do. There are a few blogs that I wanted to mention. I'm not going to go into detail on them, but just a few. Social Media Examiner, which we've already talked about their YouTube and their podcast. HubSpot and Hootsuite. So HubSpot and Hootsuite are just a great aggregation of articles about things you need to know as a business owner, especially as they pertain to marketing. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about are the other resources that are available for learning where you can learn just about anything. The first is Udemy, Udemy, Udemy. They have courses on there for how to do Photoshop. They have courses for how to set up an Etsy store. They have courses on how to make social media graphics. Anything that you are looking for your business, someone's probably teaching it in Udemy, and they're probably teaching it for not a very high cost. Another is Khan Academy. Khan Academy is mainly used for students who want help with any subject that they have, but you can also learn other things in there. So, like if you're trying to do your own books and you need help with accounting, Khan Academy will help you with that. We've already talked about YouTube. Anything on YouTube, you can find how to fill in the blank on YouTube. And also, I would just like to remind you that we have these live videos every Wednesday. We've been doing it for years, and you can go through the library on Facebook of our old videos and listen to any of the ones we've done in the past. And we just love to share information. We don't want to gatekeep. We don't think that the way to get business is by keeping your secrets to yourself. We want to help you. And if we can help you for free, that's great. And if we give you the information for free and you feel like you still can't do it, then we would love to partner with you as well. So there are tons of wonderful resources out there. All of these are going to be linked in our blog that'll go up in a few days. And just know that you're not alone. You don't have to feel overwhelmed. You don't have to stress out. Just take a deep breath, have a cup of coffee or a cup of hot tea, whichever you prefer, and know that there are resources for you. So I hope this has helped. And we will see you next week when Karen will be back. And until then, I'm Becky Johnson, and I'm here to help.